Okay, welcome back. You are able to hear my screen? Able to see this? Deepak, you are able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, I'm able to see.
Okay, you are able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir, both of us.
So we are discussing principles of natural justice. This is something we discussed. What is natural justice? So one thing you remember, the person, whoever you are charging, the person who has done the misconduct, the misbehavior, or with whom we are giving the allegation. So that person has all rights, all opportunity to know the mistake, know the hearing, know the decision. That is the principles of natural justice. These 4-5 points you can remember. Then through the inquiry process, we understood we came across few words like notify. To notify the person, how we will notify? We will notify through charge sheet. Then inquiry will happen. Then the decision, the punishment, we came across all these words. So we'll understand what is this. In the next slide, we are talking about charge sheet. Charge sheet means a written statement of certain allegations upon the offender to communicate that what is done is law breaking and not acceptable as per the code of conduct. Charge sheet means you are notifying in a written way. So you must have seen in police station you have given the FIR, first information report, FIR. Charge sheet is little different from FIR, but it is a written document. You remember this. Charge sheet is charge made against a person in respect an act committed or omitted in violation. One person is violating, you are notifying him. So you are writing, you are giving a writing. So there are different ways, different format of writing charge sheet. So there are a few rules and regulations we have given here. It must be served in a timely manner. Suppose you have done a mistake now, you are getting a charge sheet after 3-4 years. So that doesn't have any meaning. So if you are doing some mistake, the charge sheet will follow that. The company will do in the same financial year at least. The charge sheet must be specific. Suppose you have done a mistake, so I should write everything, specify everything. Whoever done the charge sheet must be specific and precise and show clearly the responsibility of the official for the misconduct. If you read the charge sheet, you will understand who has done that mistake, what are the mistake, whether it is a loss of a financial problem or a behavioral problem or a theft, anything, any misconduct happened. So you should write very specific in the charge sheet, whoever writing charge sheet. So that is what the second point said, the charge sheet must be specific. The language of charge sheet should be simple and unbiased. You should not write in a very tough language which is not understandable. It should be very simple. You are allowed to use local language, local terms, and whenever you are writing, suppose there are certain words, certain text which has double meaning. Suppose you are writing something, it could be mean something. Suppose, but you don't know, you don't mean that. So तुमको स्पेसिफाई करिया अछि तमे कोन मीन करछ से वर्ड किंबा तमे से वर्ड को अवॉइड करके आउ किछि वर्ड लिखि परियो देन चार्जशीट ता लिखवा गोटे क्रिटिकल काम the language should be very simple, very understandable. Sometimes you can apply, suppose तम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ता ओडिसा रे अछि ओडिया रे हमें कहउछन दरकार पड़ले हम ओडिया रे लिखवा विदिन ब्रैकेट हम ओडिया रे लिखवा तले जिस बुझा पड़े इंग्लिश रे बता टर्म अलगा होछि किबा मीनिंग अलगा है पारे किबा किछि लोक अलगा बुझी पारंती. Sometimes you can use the local language and in a very simple language. The chart should give full details of the incident. जिनसटा केबे हेतला इंसिडेंट टा केबे घटितला को टाइम रे घटितला को डेट रे घटितला केते बेला घटितला को लोकेशन ने किए दर विटनेस सब डिटेल्स आइबो. A copy of preliminary report may be also provided because whoever is doing inquiry, they should have all information in the charge sheet. You should notify properly everything, date and time, the person. The language should be very simple, very straightforward, very specific. So you should not have any ambiguity while writing a charge sheet. The charge sheet should be served within a reasonable time. The same thing I told. It should be served in a proper timing. Whenever you are notifying the person, you should notify immediately after the mistake. It's not after several years or several months. It's all again based on the volume of misconduct, the degree of misconduct, what you have done. That is a small problem or big problem. And whenever you are completing the charge sheet, it is going to your responsibility. The organization responsibility is to hand over the charge sheet to the person properly through registered post, through newspaper, through notify the person. So tomorrow, if the person will say, "I don't know what you are saying," then it is a problem. You have to make sure the person is receiving. You are notifying that person. So this is charge sheet. This is one important concept. You have several templates. This is just like an application. How you are writing application to the school principal. Suppose our leave the card. તમે શીખ અચ્છા કે તમારે ଗୋଟେ application તમારે transfer କରୁଛ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ school ତ ଗୋଟେ application ଲେଖୁଛ ସେ ଭଳିଆ charge sheet ଲେଖିଥାଏ. That is a they have different format, different company follows different format, but generally it is like application. So you remember some few things. Charge sheet means a written statement. Whatever the allegation you are putting, you are writing everything in the charge sheet. Then it will go to the inquiry officer. Then inquiry will happen. Based on the inquiry report, the punishment will happen. And what are the different punishment in one slide, in the next slide? What are punishment? In other words, it is called disciplinary action. How you are acting that misconduct, that behavior. In sometimes I told you that it depends on the degree of misconduct, volume of misconduct. Sometimes you may avoid the issue by coaching, consulting, verbally calling the person and telling something, then the issue will be closed. Sometimes you may give a written warning, verbal warning and written warning. Sometimes you are giving the multiple warnings. Finally, you are telling this is the final warning. next time I'll do something. Then you will suspend another type of disciplinary action. You are suspending that person for certain time, certain days, certain weeks, certain months. You are not suspending from the work. You are telling that you are suspended for 1 week time or 1 month time. But that person will not work for 1 month and we are not paying. Then you will asking to fire the person. That's separation. That is the highest level of permission. You are asking that person to leave the company, to quit the company. That is firing that person. So there are different disciplinary action based on the inquiry you are taking. First thing, you are coaching that person, you are counseling that person, giving a verbal warning, and you are giving the written warning. Same thing you are giving in writing, and you are telling multiple times. Finally, you are giving warning. Then you are giving the suspension order to that person. That is another type of action. And suspension can have for a period of time. And the highest level of action is you are asking that person to quit the job. You are separating that person from the organization. These are the different disciplinary action, and these are the outcome of the misconduct, misbehavior, and inquiry, and in your inquiry report. These are the outcome of that. You read the concept behind charge sheet, disciplinary action, and another thing, natural justice, domestic inquiry. These are the few concepts you understand. And overall, I'll summarize what are the process behind it. Domestic inquiry. As I told you, it is based on the principles of natural justice, drafting a charge sheet. The next thing, who should use the charge sheet? Who should issue the charge sheet? Who will issue the charge sheet? Suppose whoever is complaining the management, the charge sheet proper. Charge sheet proper is the format, the way you are writing, the description, the details you are giving in the charge sheet, service of charges to the workman. So whenever you are completing the writing charge sheet, you have to make sure the charge sheet is short to the person who has done the mistake. So that service is very important. End of the day, that person should not come and tell that I don't know anything. So you have to make sure that person is getting, reading, and understanding the charge sheet. So that service is important. Then once the charge sheet is there, then inquiry officer will do the inquiry investigation. And once the inquiry is complete, then inquiry, as part of inquiry, there are a lot of things. You have to collect the evidence, you have to read through the details in charge sheet, you have to discuss with the witness. So then finally, once your inquiry is done, you will come up with inquiry report. Based on the inquiry report, you will decide the punishment. And different types of punishment, we read about that in the earlier slide. What are the different types of punishment? These are the action, disciplinary action. So based on the mistake or misconduct or misbehavior, we are deciding the action. It's all depends on the volume of the charges. It could be small, it could be big. So depending on that, we'll decide the action. So these are the different steps behind the inquiry, behind the complete investigation. So these steps, these points are very generic. You can remember this. This could be a long type question. Within that, there will be short notes on natural justice, charge sheet, and disciplinary action. We read about one concept. What are the different disciplinary action? Charge sheet will come as a short note. Natural justice, and the entire process could be one essay type question, long question. You can answer it. You can write it. I will discuss one case. I'll collect one actual case from High Court or Supreme Court, which will give you the real picture, real case study. You can refer the same in the exam. So on this chapter, we'll understand one case which will have the code of conduct, code of discipline, then your domestic inquiry, everything will be there. So we have this much in this chapter. Tomorrow we'll meet the same time and we'll start a new paper, that is your labor legislation. We'll start that tomorrow. We'll take it through and you tell me whether the timing is okay or not. So this timing will change in the afternoon. Morning is not convenient. But if you want any change, you will let me know. We have time till tomorrow day after. Day after onwards, I want to follow the new timing. Tomorrow we'll have the same timing, 11 o'clock. And for attendance, you gave me your roll number in the chat box. I'll take it in my attendance sheet. Anything else you want now? Okay, then thank you. Thank you. See you tomorrow.